Hi, it's Jan Beta, and today I have something not retro computer related for a change. I started a video series on this Marantz MR 250 amplifier, or it's a receiver actually. So I started this restoration quite a while ago, and I always wanted to finish this, but it just went into the cupboard basically, and I put it aside. So I still need to change some of the capacitors. I want to give this a full recap because this was made in the 70s, in the late 70s, I think. This is not a particularly good Marantz, but it's not bad either, so it's probably worth the while. What I also want to do, and what this video is primarily about, because I showed you how to recap this thing in the previous videos. I will link them in the corner here. There were two videos where I inspected this, and the second one is about the recapping and stuff. So I just want to finish this off now without showing much of the process. And then what I'm going to do is to the lights on the dial lights are all burned out, which is quite, yeah, it's normal for a thing of this age, with just incandescent light bulbs in there. So I bought some LED replacements that I want to try in this, and I want to show you how to get in there. So yeah, let me finish the recap, and then we are going to take care of the lights in the front and hopefully have a nice working receiver in the end. This receiver is promised to my sister actually in exchange for the Amiga 1200 she gave me, and that you've probably seen me use in some videos. And yeah, it's about time I do this to give it to her finally. Yeah. So I got the main circuit board all recapped, which is also the main amplifier. I have to do some of the tone controls here, which are beneath here, and I think what I'm going to do is to take off the whole faceplate for that, because yeah, that's what I want to do. We have to take off the knobs, and these just pull out. This has a little hexagonal screw. You need an Allen key for it, so you can loosen it a bit. It's a very little one, I don't know which size it is, I just tried what I had in my collection here. And this one worked, so there we are. And I should just be able to pull the others out, because they're just stuck on. And of course it's all aluminum plastic inserts here. So now we have some screws on the top here, I think two screws, and there are two on the bottom, or three I think. So let's get it on. 3 screws to rule them all. So I have this hanging over the edge of the table here, so I can basically just pull it out. So for the recap, we're going to take this board away here. And I think we should be able, if we are just loosening these 2 screws here. So I'm gonna go with that. So now I should be able to pull this board out here. I would have to unwrap all these wires here, I think. Luckily, I bought this wire wrap tool some time ago, and it just works. So I can unwrap the wires on this side here, I think, at least. So there we are. That's a nice tool. Never used that before. Thank you, Max Arcade, where I think I saw these kind of tools on his channel. I will link that in here. Very nice audio restorations. It didn't do much because of health reasons and stuff in the last couple of months, but he has a back catalog of very, very good videos. that I learned a lot from. So thanks. So now I hope to be able to get this out there and bend it up to an angle that I can actually, yes, work on it. Okay, so here we are. I can work on it now, and I can replace the caps. I'm going to cut this because you saw it before, and I'm also gonna change the caps underneath there. So if you want to see me exchanging caps, you can basically watch the previous videos. So, pop. So I managed to recap this board and the board underneath, and I'm reconnecting the wires, and I have an unwrapping tool for these wire wraps, but I don't have a wrapping tool, so I have to solder them on basically, which is not that much of a problem because the connection is there anyway. Let's get, I think we still have to do the ones underneath here. This circuit board basically is the tuning for this is the whole radio part. I'm not gonna touch any of these caps because yeah, this is basically, it's quite fiddly to adjust this, and I can't do it because I don't have the equipment, so I'm gonna leave it like that. Probably at some point some of the caps will start doing all weird kind of stuff, so it would have to be adjusted at some point, but yeah, you can basically get all the screws out here and pull it up, and then look beneath there, and there are some caps still that need to be replaced. So we have to take care of the mechanics here, so we don't, under no circumstances we want this ribbon here to fall off, or yeah. So I don't want to have to rewind that, because that's probably the worst thing that could happen here. So it is tucked under here, I think, and we should now be able to lift it up a bit so that we can look inside there. And there's quite some dust there. I'm not gonna open this any further because it's all connected to the other ports and stuff, and I don't want to take any of that apart, and I don't think I have to. As I mentioned, I did a recap on one of these on the smaller models of the same series, so it was the same radio board basically, and I did this and got to the caps with a long pair of pliers and stuff. You can get to the circuit board from the other side, no problem, but yeah, you have to be a bit inventive from this side here. Yeah, that's what I wanted to show you, how to get this board out and how to get to these caps. Basically, if you can't manage to do so, you have to disconnect all the wires, and you have to rewind the whole ribbon thing here. So yeah, that's no good at all, but you can get away with this. Okay, sorry for the shaky cam, but yeah, maybe you can see there's a few caps there, and there's one there. Okay, this is the last of the caps here. I think I'll have a good look in a second. Well, I think that should be the recapping of this thing here. That was quite a party. Oof. I kind of know why I don't work on these things no more. Or I don't do it that often, because it's it's a tedious job most of the times. And yeah, it pays, of course, because this is a pretty nice receiver, especially if you compare it to today's stuff. It's very well made and sounds pretty nice. Okay, so safety squints. Let's see if anything blows up. I don't hope so. Not, let's see. Okay, so the relay clicked. So it didn't mess it up. Big time at least. Okay, I tested this for a while on my test speakers here and it works just fine. So that's nice. It didn't smoke or burn or explode or anything. So I guess I have all the caps in the right direction and didn't make any serious mistakes there. So now for the dial lights, and then that's done. So there are these caps here that I think I can remove them and then get to the light bulb beneath there. So let's see. Okay, there's a screw, and now we should be able to just take this off. And there's our light bulb. Oh, and it is a tinted one, which is pretty nice. So quite a while back, some people, I think it was from Bulgaria, I don't know if I can find them again, I will link them below. They made these replacement lamps that are basically, they have LED lamps and they have the same form factor as the original lamps and work with the same voltages. So they made these basically to replace the lights and hopefully have a longer lifespan and stuff. So I hope that these are okay for this job. And yeah, this clearly is broken, even some smoke there. Bend these a bit to make it grip better there, I think. Okay, so should give it a bit of a grip there. Yeah, much better. So I think I'll have to position it a bit, like so maybe. Here's the same story on the other side. That's exactly the same here, I think. Or I would guess so. Yeah, there we go. There's our light bulb, and they're all burned out. So this clearly is burned out too. And it's also it seems that they are the originals. They are blue tinted, which is pretty nice because want a bit of blue light in the Marantz. There we are. Okay, this feels okay. Letting these point into the middle there. So now we have this one here, which is the one for the meters. And the last time I did this, it was quite painful to do. So what I'm going to try this time is to not disassemble the whole thing, but go inside there with my pliers and just pick it out there. There we go. That was pretty easy. Oh, and this one is also, it's come loose and stuff. Oh, not nice, it's not so good. So I'm bending these a bit in shape there. The other one as well. So that we can probably, hopefully, insert this there. At least I hope so. Don't know how to go about this yet. but should be able to just, yeah. So I think that should be in nicely. Okay, so now for the worst one, which is here. I have to remove some of the shielding here and stuff, I think, to get on there. Yeah, it's not very easy to get there, but I think I also have to desolder the wires on there. Might have to do so. I'm not quite sure, but at least I have to remove these covers here. Which I think, don't remember exactly. I just, yeah, this just lifts out here. Can just pull it apart like so. And then the whole assembly just comes off here. I think I can take off the rest too. Yeah, I think I have to desolder the lamps anyway, because they are attached to this thing here, to this hole. Oh, let me show you from the other side maybe. So I ended up just bending this so that I can probably reach the light bulb in there, and bending it back when I'm finished. So let's see how it goes. Not very satisfied, but it's so tedious to get this whole thing out, and I would have to remove all the solder joints here, so I don't want to do that. I think I can get away with reaching it through there. I hope so. Okay, the bendy stuff just worked, and yeah, it's a bit bent, but I'm gonna reassemble it and see if it's alright. I got all the bulbs in. I'd say let's do a quick light test before we reassemble the thing. So, get the lights here. Okay. Whoa. That's pretty nice. So it looks much more like a real Marantz now. So the light is pretty nice and pretty bright, but it flickers a bit because it's run on AC. At any rate, I'm gonna put the faceplate back on now. So, and although this looks pretty fantastic now, I am going to build a little circuit to prevent the lights from flickering, because I think it's pretty easily done, because I just need a little rectifier and a capacitor to smooth out the AC there to make it DC, or at least closer to DC than the AC it is now. But one thing I will have to do first, because of my own lack of dexterity, because I managed upon assembly to break the dial string that moves the little needle here and it also moves the capacitor that sets the frequency accordingly. I broke the dial string, so hope to get this done, and hope it turns out to be informative at least, or if it doesn't work, at least it's gonna be something to laugh at for you guys out there, probably. So let's try. So here's the whole catastrophe. Luckily there is a little plan on how to restring these in the service manual. So I probably, yeah, I will have to take a look at that. So I printed out the page about the restringing of the dial stringing, and it has a little schematic here that basically shows how the dial runs. And yeah, I think it's doable even. There's the little spring is the start point and the end point. So there are letters according to the alphabet. It goes from A, B, then it goes on to C, D, E, F, G, and I think there's 2 twists on there. And then it goes back to here on the little spring. So I guess I'm just gonna have to try to do this. And first of all, I have to remove the old string and see if the new string is the right gauge and stuff. So I got the new string from Revis Sound, which is a German supplier of parts for tube radios, and they also do repair work, I think. TubeRadio.de. TubeRadio.de. You can get this stuff there if you don't know where to get it anywhere near your place. Yeah, so I guess we're gonna go with that. And I ordered, this is supposedly 3 meters of this stuff, so I won't need all of this. And I have some, I can fail a couple of times and still have some. Yeah, really not looking forward to doing this because, yeah, might be pretty hard to pull off here. So, okay, I got this halfway working, but not fully. Let me show you this. I don't know why this is, but the scale goes from here and then it stops somewhere here, which isn't, of course, it should go all the way to here, but it doesn't. And I don't really know why. Maybe the windings are wrong somewhere or stuff like that, but I don't really know. Yeah, it's a bit of a pain, but I think I'm gonna leave it like that because I spent some hours on that, and yeah. I'm gonna go on with the lights. I think the restringing itself was successful, but there's a little mechanic. Let me show you this. There's a little mechanic that stops this thing from turning any further down there. And yeah, I don't really understand it. It's a bit complex for me. So this is where it's supposed to stop, of course. And it should go all the way around there, but it doesn't. Because there's something in there that locks it. So I don't really know why. Got something in the assembly wrong there, but yeah. I have to look into that later, or maybe tomorrow, or never. Because I guess nobody really uses the radio anyway. And half of it works. So, yeah. I don't know. I'm a bit exhausted now from the whole string thing that went pretty smoothly, I have to say. It was less bad than I expected. But these mechanics fell out, and yeah. It's a pain. I don't know how to get this back together. So, yeah, I'm gonna make a little circuit for the lights, I guess. What I'm going to do about the AC for the lights issue is to add a little bridge rectifier. Could also use 4 diodes and build my own bridge rectifier. And a little cap. What this does basically is to the bridge rectifier turns one half wave of the AC around. The AC would be something like a sine wave going in the positive and in the negative, and this would make something like only going to the positive waves, and we are going to smooth that so you don't have the valleys there, so to say. You have a smoother curve. That's still probably still a curve, but pretty damn close to perfect DC. I'm using a 220 microfarad cap, which is a bit over the top. You should use something like 100. Don't go too high because it would stress the transformer a bit. 220 is probably pretty much perfect. This is way over the top. It's rated for I don't know how many amps, but it's a huge one. Would have to look that up. It's far more than is needed here. And this is 25 volts. The lamps run on 9 volts AC or something like that. So it's you shouldn't go beneath the 9 volts in this case. So 25 volts is over the top as well, but it'll do. And I'm using this little perf board to solder it all together and make one side of it the input and the other one the output for the DC, I guess. So yeah, let me do that. So I'm doing it like something like this. So the cap is on the output. Okay, so here's the little board I made. This is gonna be the AC input, and the DC is coming out this side. So I can basically cut this here or something. So yeah, like this. And there's still a little thing with which we can probably attach this somewhere. Yeah, this is huge for the job, but it'll do just fine. So and here's our the green and the black wire are feeding the AC to the LEDs in this case. And I think I'm just going to cut them and probably fix the board on the near to the transformer on this thing here somewhere. Make sure to wrap it in some stuff there, probably somewhere. Maybe I could use the screw that's already there or something. I'll just attach it somewhere here. So you probably can see this. I'm going to connect this to the. This is the one of the lamp holders there, and I'm going to connect it over there. Yeah. So can't really show it because the angle is pretty weird. So I'm just going to solder it on there and then be back. Okay, I have it connected now. Yeah, I guess let's make a little test if this works at all. Okay, so I turned off the lights a bit. Here's for testing the lights, if they work at all. Yeah, and sure they do. Cool. So at least that worked. It didn't get any darker, any noticeably darker. So, nice. That turned out pretty well. So I guess let's find a place to attach the little fella. So I wrap my little circuit in electrical tape basically, and I'm gonna stick it with a cable tie down on this hole here on the assembly, close to there's a grounds connection there. I'm going to make sure that I don't hurt that, but I think it's the best position, so it's gonna sit something like that. So there it is, down there. It's not too bad, I guess. I'm gonna cable tie this to the side here, I guess, and the dial string is still free there. Looks as if it would touch it, I guess, on camera, but it doesn't. So I'm gonna cable tie this to the side here as well, I guess, and then we're fine. Nice. So for the idling current adjustment, I'm gonna use my multimeter here, and I'm turning the volume to nothing, everything off. And then I'm connecting my test leads to J9, which is ground, and J8, which is positive. They are located here. Don't know if you can see that properly. I'm just going in there with my probes here. It's the same for both channels. The test points are here and here. Behind these huge resistors here, and I believe this and this one are for setting the idling current. The offset voltage, you can also, this is the other one there that you can measure across the output terminals. But at first we're going to do the idling current. So it should be 24 millivolts, I believe. Yeah, 24 millivolts. And what you usually do is to turn it on and let it run for some time. And then adjust it after some time. So here we are after about 10 minutes. Usually these warm up quite a bit, and then they stabilize, and I don't know. This is the current for the idle state of the transistors, actually. So it is pretty important for the transistors to work efficiently to get the right power for the amplification. So yeah, it's a pretty zen process. So usually it's 0.1 millivolt off is not too bad. So okay, 23.8 is probably as close as we can get. Let's try with the other channel. And yeah, it's the same procedure basically. So I'm going to skip ahead. So I have the other channel set to approximately 24 millivolts as well. So that should be fine. Let's try and adjust the DC offset on the outputs. So in order to adjust the DC offset on the outputs, I have to stick my probes into the speaker terminals there. So we can put this on volts, I guess, at first. And yeah, I have to activate the speakers, which I have connected this to. We have to do this for the left and the right channel separately. So as you can see, there is some minor stuff going on there, but that's pretty good. That won't hurt anything. So, and it's still falling, so it's probably going to be very close to 0. Yeah, that's nothing to speak of, really. So I let this run for some minutes again and see if I can adjust it so that it's totally 0. But that's totally fine. I bet 10 millivolts or 20 millivolts or 30 millivolts or even some more millivolts are very okay for everything. So this is very good. So I got the DC offset to 0.2 or 0.3 millivolts on each channel, so that's pretty good. So it's pretty, yeah, this is pretty much all we can do now to adjust this. I don't have the equipment. Normally you would have to adjust the radio part of it too. I don't neither have the equipment, nor do I want to do that, because I left this pretty much as is anyway. And I messed up the dial, so it's pretty pointless to adjust that as long as it's not properly repaired. Maybe I will give this another shot sometime, but for now I think I call this finished. I'm going to close it, close the case here, and give it some hours of testing. It's the nice part of this. Okay, time to reassemble it. Okay, so time for a proper test run. Let's see if the radio works at all. Yeah. It works, but it only can tune to half of the scale, which is yeah. And the reception on this one is great compared to any other radio I have. They just used to make better radio receivers back in the day, because radio was a thing and there were actual radio stations you wanted to listen to. It's quite a pain lately in Germany, at least. So I'm going to test this with some music, and yeah, then I'm going to call this a wrap. Yeah, I had this running for some hours now, and it seems to work fine, and it sounds pretty nice. So yeah, I call this restoration finished now, even though I didn't manage to get the mechanics right for the dial there, which is a minor issue from a technical standpoint, but it's, of course, if this was some kind of proper restoration, I would probably put some more time in it and see if I could figure out why, but I put some hours in that and I couldn't figure it out, so I'm probably not. I'm more of an electronics guy than of a mechanics guy, it seems, so couldn't figure it out. If anyone has any ideas on how to fix this, feel free to write them in the comments. For now, I call it a wrap. If you want to support me, you can check out my Patreon. You can donate some money via PayPal. You can also subscribe to my channel or give this a thumbs up, of course. And yeah, check out the description and the comments. There's often interesting discussion going on. Check out my Twitter, which I will link in here. There's discussion going on there as well, and you can follow me and see what I'm up to. Often I post about projects I'm just doing. Yeah. Thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed this. There's gonna be more audio stuff sometime. And there's also gonna be more retro computer stuff sometime. So hope to see you all again. Hope I don't bore you too much with this. Thanks for watching. I'm Jan Peter. See you next time. Bye.